Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Well, we made it through Halloween. Spooky season is unfortunately over. But if you're like me, you'll continue to watch horror films through the rest of the year and on into next year because, hey, we love horror. So spooky season is an all-year thing, not just Halloween. And today, I want to talk to you about a very special film, one of my all-time favorite films, and in my opinion, the greatest horror film of all time. I am, of course, talking about the 1968 George Romero classic, Night of the Living Dead. This film, as I said, was directed and written by George Romero, who is a legendary horror director. He went on to direct what, in my opinion, also is the greatest trilogy of horror films ever. Starting with Night of the Living Dead, continuing with the epic Dawn of the Dead, and finishing off with the special effects apocalyptic masterpiece, Day of the Dead. But it all started with Night of the Living Dead, and this film was done on, from what I understand, a shoestring budget. It is still in the public domain to this day. You can find it right here on YouTube. But I want to talk to you today about the Criterion release. And as far as I know, this is the highest quality of that this film has ever been presented in. And we'll get to the specs in just a minute. But if you don't know what Night of the Living Dead is, if you've been living under a rock, then let me just give you a little rundown of what the film is and why it's so important. This movie is not the first zombie film ever made. There were zombie films before Night of the Living Dead. White Zombie, the Bela Lugosi classic. Plague of the Zombies, put out by Hammer, and a few others sprinkled in here and there. But this film is the first zombie film to feature flesh-eating zombies, flesh-eating dead. And these type of zombies became the norm for the genre, and they continue even to this day, spawning classics like Return of the Living Dead, Lucio Fulci's Zombie, Reanimator, even The Walking Dead. All of those films and tons more owe everything to this film and to George Romero. This movie revolves around a small cast of people who are held up in a farmhouse because they are being stalked and hunted by the living dead. The zombies surround the house. The cast board up the house as best they can, but to try and keep the zombies out. And we all know you really can't keep a horde of zombies out. They will eventually get in. There's tons of social commentary in this film. George Romero took a big risk and had a lot of nerve, really casting his lead man, who happens to be an African American. This, of course, was the 1960s when segregation was still a thing, and our leading man happens to be an African American, and he's does a great job. His character is named Ben. He is played by Dwayne Jones. This film also stars Judith O'Dea as Barbara and Carl Hardman as Harry Cooper. The characters in this film, the real drama in this film is not only the zombies trying to get in, it's what's going on inside the house, especially between Ben and Harry Cooper. One has very strong beliefs in how they should try and survive the night. The other has a very different set of beliefs, and they eventually come to a head. And this film also is one that has a very bleak ending. I will not spoil it in case you haven't seen it for whatever reason that you haven't seen this movie. Why haven't you seen this movie? If you haven't seen it, why? Why haven't you seen it? But very bleak ending. And that's another thing that took guts to do a film that, not all films have happy endings, and this one sure is one of those. This film, as I said, I have the Criterion release, and it is still available. I will put a link in the description below from Amazon. But Criterion really did a great job on this Blu-ray. You can see there's some beautiful artwork. That's Ben, Barbara, and Harry, and you get some zombie hands there. And there's the back with tons of information about the movie and the special features. Criterion is one of those labels that really takes pride and puts out really high quality releases. We get we get the Blu-ray, we get special features. We get a new 4K digital restoration supervised by George Romero himself. We get a restoration of the soundtrack. We get a Romero supervised he supervised the restoration of the soundtrack. We get the Night of Anubis, which is a never before presented work print of the film. New program featuring filmmakers Frank Darabont, Guillermo del Toro, and Robert Rodriguez. Never before seen 16mm dailies. New program featuring Russo on the commercial and industrial film production company where key Night of the Living Dead filmmakers got their start. 2 audio commentaries from 1994 featuring Romero, producer Carl Hardman, actor Judith O'Dea, and others, and archival interviews with George Romero and actors Dwayne Jones and Judith Ridley. Programs featuring about the film's style and score. New interview program about the direction of Ghouls, featuring, which is what the zombies are referred to in this film, by the way, featuring members of the cast and crew. New interviews with George Striner and Russell Striner. Newsreels from 1967. TV spots, trailers, and radio spots. So this is really loaded with special features. I'll just show you what you get here. You get this slipcase, the outer box, and inside we get the actual case, which there's the cover, there's our back, and if we open that up, and it is a 2-disc set, as you can see. This also comes with a poster, and on the poster side we get a shot of Karen, who is Harry and Helen Cooper's daughter, and on the back side we just get a tons of information about the film. So that's really nice. I always like it when Blu-ray labels give you little extra goodies like that, a poster, a booklet, or something like that. That's always nice. So again, there's the Criterion release of Night of the Living Dead. This film is one of the few films that had a remake, had actually a couple of remakes, but the first remake from 1990 is also a fan favorite. Some fans even prefer that to the original, and I love the 1990 remake. It's great. So one of the few horror films that actually has a great remake. Check that one out too as well. So there you have it. That's my review of Night of the Living Dead and the Criterion release of the film. I cannot give this film enough praise, enough recommendation. If you love zombie films and maybe you're just a fan of The Walking Dead, you got to check this film out. I mean, The Walking Dead owes everything to this film. Maybe you're a fan of zombie films and haven't seen where the flesh-eating zombies came from. You haven't checked out the classic Night of the Living Dead. Check this movie out. Like I said, it's in the public domain. As far as I know, it still is. It's available on YouTube. Not in the best quality, but probably you can find yourself a watchable copy, or get the Criterion Blu-ray. Can't recommend it enough. Can't give it enough praise. In my opinion, again, the greatest horror film of all time. It bridges the gap between the classic era and what will become the modern era of horror. So there you go, guys. I did this review as a special request from a friend of mine. Hello, Lane. Let me know what you thought of the review. Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button, and I will see you guys the next time. Night of the Living Dead. Check it out.